This is the newsroom for today, Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, Jagdeo outlines new housing measures for Region 10.
Those who are extremely poor, and those who are disabled and can't afford to build, the government will build some small houses for them.
Mustapha urges public to ignore rumours as fish sales decline. Motorists urged to ignore fraudulent traffic fine text messages. And in sport, local administrators hails success of landmark sports seminar, and cricket coach Ameer Rahaman expands portfolio with analytics qualification. With the news, I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. We start off by telling you that Vice President Dr. Jagdeo says the government is on track to clear Region 10's housing backlog by the end of next year, while moving to regularize almost 1,000 properties occupied on NISL lands. During Tuesday's public outreach in Linden, he also announced new housing initiatives for destitute families, plans to certify contractors, and warned against persons selling government house lots only to reapply under different names.
Housing was front and center as Vice President Dr. Jagdeo addressed hundreds of residents during the Region 10 public outreach on Tuesday. He announced that the government expects to clear the housing backlog in Region 10 and the country's other non-coastal regions by the end of next year, saying enough lands are being prepared to meet the demand.
Housing seems to be a major issue, and you heard what I said earlier to people there. So I'm looking forward to a day-long engagement with people in Region 10.
Jagdeo also revealed that almost 1,000 people living on lands owned by NISL in Region 10 will soon have their occupancy regularized, allowing them to finally receive legal titles. He noted that expanding housing comes at a significant cost to the state.
That's a lot of money we have to spend. It takes as much as about $5 million to develop one house lot. That's what it costs the government. And then we sell it for, I don't know how much, maybe 500,000 or something like that, around that. So it's a huge subsidy.
The Vice President also announced a new program targeting some of the country's most vulnerable citizens. Under the initiative, the government will build modest one-bedroom homes for elderly persons, people with disabilities, and others who have been abandoned or are unable to afford a home. At the same time, he acknowledged another challenge, finding reliable contractors. Jagdeo said too many projects are delayed because contractors fail to complete homes on time, prompting the government to introduce a contractor certification system to improve quality and delivery. He also took aim at abuse of the housing program. According to the Vice President, some beneficiaries sell their government-allotted house lots and later submit fresh applications under different names, making it harder for first-time applicants to access land. The government, he said, is working to close these loopholes while helping thousands of landowners secure financing to finally build on the lots they already own.
We're launching a program now where for people who are really destitute, like people who've been abandoned by their families, like elderly, those who are extremely poor, and those who are disabled and can't afford to build, the government will build some small houses for them, one-bedroom houses.
Outside the venue, a contrasting scene unfolded as opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed joined disgruntled residents in a protest, with demonstrators chanting, waving placards, and voicing concerns over a range of issues.
Agriculture Minister Mustapha is assuring the public that fish sold across Guyana remains safe for consumption, even as vendors report a sharp decline in sales. The minister says there is no scientific evidence to suggest that fish available for consumption has been contaminated.
Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustapha has sought to reassure the public that fish sold across Guyana remains safe for consumption as vendors report a sharp decline in sales. The Guyana National Fisher Folk Organization over the weekend urged the public not to be swayed by misinformation circulating on social media, warning that unfounded claims about the safety of locally caught fish are hurting thousands of people who depend on the fishing industry for their livelihoods.
Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustapha told the newsroom on Tuesday that there is no scientific evidence to suggest that fish consumption poses a risk.
To date, there is no scientific evidence or advice from the relevant public health or fishery authorities indicating that fish available for consumption has been contaminated as a result of the incident, the Barima incidents. There is no evidence to show that, and there is nothing like that fish has been contaminated. Fish sold throughout our established supply chains continue to come from normal fishing grounds and is subject to the same standard and practices that have always governed the industry. Unfortunately, fear and misinformation can sometimes have unintended consequences. We have received reports from some fisher folks that consumer demand has slowed in certain areas because of public apprehension.
While maintaining there is no cause for concern over seafood safety, Mustapha acknowledged that rumors circulating in the aftermath of the MV Barima tragedy have begun affecting the livelihoods of fisher folk. At Border Market, vendors said business has slowed significantly.
For the short while, sales is very bad. Since this rumor going wrong, a lot of rumor going wrong, but this fish eating people, that's fake. And whoever doing it supposed to stop it because it's affecting our business a lot. Out of 99, I would say nearly about 80% cut. Because in here, so no business I'm pushing right now for the morning, we sell a particular thing. As you could see, the market is empty, don't have nobody buying. We only struggling.
Mustapha explained that fish sold throughout Guyana's supply chain continues to come from established fishing grounds and is harvested under the same standards and practices that have always governed the industry. This was confirmed by another vendor, Kenneth, who told the newsroom that most of the fish sold at the market is caught offshore in salt water.
We kind of fish we have in here, we come from till out in the ocean. But snapper, trout, and these big kind of fish we have, you don't get a fish close in the sea. You just go out far to get fish. The only little boats you can get at Bangamiri is close run, but not in the sweet water. We don't get fish in sweet water. We don't have sweet water fish here. We have salt water fish here, no sweet water. We fish come from the salt water. So we have a problem with big fish eating people.
Mustapha said the ministry, through its fisheries department, has been engaging fisher folk and will continue monitoring the situation.
Reporting for the newsroom, I am Sharda Bacchus.
Traffic Chief Mahindra Singh is warning the public about a fraudulent scheme involving fake text messages purporting to be official traffic fine notices as authorities investigate reports that some persons have already fallen victim to the scam. The scam falsely claim recipients have outstanding traffic fines and threaten legal action, financial penalties or court proceedings unless payment is made within a specified period. Recipients are also directed to a fraudulent website where they are encouraged to provide personal and financial information. Singh, in an interview with the newsroom on Tuesday, explained that the Safe Road Intelligence System only sends an SMS notifying motorists that a speeding offence has been committed.
The SRIS informs you via SMS text message that the offence of speeding was committed only by one way. When you get that SMS text messages, it comes directly from GPF e-ticket. It's not a number that you see. Each of the carriers, ENET, GT&T or Digicel, that's how you know you get an e-ticket for speeding from us, the Guyana Police Force. That's one. Two, that is followed generally after a 24-hour period by an email with an electronic notice that tells you the date, the time, the place, the speed at which you are traveling, how far above the limit you are going, which magisterial court, date and time you are to appear. All of that information. What you may have been seeing yesterday and maybe a few weeks before when something like this showed up is that you get a composition of a text message that's very lengthy. The composition of the text message from us is very short. Very, very short. It speaks the date and time, where the offence was committed and you did commit. The actual information is contained in the notice which comes after. Both of these things that you receive from what I would call a scammer, they're very lengthy, and it gives you a link to go. And if you notice, when you go to the link, you have to utilize a bank card to make the payment. Be very clear that MMG or the clerk of court are the only authorized means of payment for a speeding ticket in our country at this time. What I can say is that if persons would have been scammed, or would have paid, or would have been so compliant when it was lawless and not lawful, I think you should report it to the Criminal Investigations Department for an investigation to be done. The actual offense that is constituted and or would be established has to be so done at the Criminal Investigation Department. Let the unit that deals with cyber type offenses and or offenses of this nature deal with it. So persons who would have received same, go. So an investigation now is being done. That will actually prove the origination of this thing and who might be liable. In the environment in which we operate is that persons are very skilled. They do have their way with technology, and as good as the technology is for us and everyone else, is good for them too. They manipulate systems and or what is established to suit themselves. What we ought to do as individuals is to take all necessary steps to protect our information. We must become more aware of what is happening in the present day. So you know, when you get these things, you can associate it with what is not, or how to treat with it.
When in newsroom returns, the government's Model Village Initiative consultation continues along the east bank of the Demerara. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. The community of Caneville on the east bank of Demerara is set to undergo renovations as part of the government's Model Villages initiative. New and improved roadways, drainage systems, fire hydrants, recreational facilities, and more undertakings are expected to be carried out to upgrade the village's livelihood. President Irfan Ali, Minister within the Ministry of Housing, Vanessa Ben, and other officials conducted an outreach to the community on Tuesday afternoon to share the proposals with residents and obtain direct feedback and suggestions.
So today is about building the foundation, the system that will allow safe community through our camera system, that will allow good recreational facility, green spaces, beautification through trees, upgrading of the drainage system, upgrading of the roads, sidewalks, the schools, maintaining public infrastructure, working with civil society and the churches in delivering a community that our young people can enjoy, aspire to live in, aspire to build their homes, aspire to make their life footprint there. And that is the type of discourse we want to have. Imagine streets that are safe and you have children every afternoon laughing and playing and coming together against streets that are dead and nothing happens on them. So this energy is important. So the community must offer care. You must care for each other. You must have good neighborly relationship. And to have good neighborly relationship, you have to get rid of some of the sores. You can't love your neighbor and play music all night and they have a sick neighbor. So we have to manage these things. We have to ensure that there is discipline, that there is compliance with the law. We have to have areas that are designated for different things. And we want everybody to coexist. We want the mechanics to continue working, the tire shop, the spray paint shop. But we can't do that at the expense of the health and safety and peace of all of the community. Therefore, we have to have spaces in the community. The reserves are going to be upgraded to have these kind of businesses in those areas. We can't build beautiful streets and then have everybody dump their sand on the edge of the street and then park their big trucks to the edge of the street. These are things that we have to exercise care, concern. The community must be able to bring together cohesion, collaboration, coordination, and compliance. These are important aspects of community life.
We tell you now that the government has launched a new online platform aimed at giving citizens and public servants a stronger voice in improving public services. Minister of Public Service, Government Efficiency and Implementation, Zulfikar Ali, says the website called The Voice was created to provide a direct channel for people to share ideas, raise concerns, and make recommendations that can help improve the delivery of government services. The minister explained that many public servants have valuable ideas that often do not reach decision makers. He said the platform ensures those suggestions are heard and considered. Users can visit mpsmandate.gov.gy to submit concerns, report workplace or service-related issues, and offer recommendations. Minister Ali says he personally reviews submissions, contacts users when additional information is needed, and works with the relevant agencies to address problems wherever possible. Because the platform is web-based, it can be accessed from a mobile phone, tablet, or computer at any time. Persons wishing to submit suggestions or concerns can do so by visiting mpsmandate.gov.gy and complete a short online form with their contact information and details of their recommendation or issue. Now, at the CELAC Regional Dialogue on the Future Leadership of the United Nations, convened by the government of Uruguay, United Nations Secretary General candidate Carleen Rodriguez-Burkett addressed how to rebuild young people's confidence in the UN. Main question of the discussion: what would be your approach to restoring young people's confidence in the United Nations?
The world we want and the world we deserve.
Nos ayudan
I was appointed as a government
crear
minister
el
at
mundo
the age of
que
27.
queremos.
And so I do not believe that we
Así
must
que no
see
creo
our youth only as potential
los
for the future,
jóvenes solo
but
sean
also
un
as doers
potencial,
in the present.
sino
As permanent
actores.
representative, I've also prioritized engaging young people. I've engaged with them directly when I co-facilitated the establishment of the UN Youth Office. I've met them in their universities. I've had them over at our mission discussing how they could contribute to
Disculpen, se
policy
cortó nuestra
discussions
conexión
and
en cabina
also
de
to
traducción.
find solutions. I also encourage my government to include young people in their delegation to meetings at the UN. And I'm very happy to say that one of those young people came back this year to the UN as a government minister in President Ali's cabinet. And so as Secretary General, I will continue to engage young people. I would communicate clearly about the work, the good work, and the impact of the United Nations and the role that young people can play in strengthening multilateralism and human rights, including by leveraging the digital space for good. And let me say that that would involve carefully filtering and analyzing the deluge of information that is now at the fingertips of young people in order for them to advocate what is right. I would also ensure, finally, that the Youth Office has a robust communication position with youth so that they can be more engaged in the global discussion. But thank you for the question, and rest assured that youth will be my priority.
But in newsroom returns, the financial, weather, and bridge report along with sport. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. Local administrators DJ Dias, Azizi Christiani, Karishma Ramnath and Lenville Perth were unanimous in their assessment of the two-day sports seminar being a huge success. Facilitated by the ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League, the seminar was conducted by Professors Pam Phillips and Campbell Jameson of Deakin University of Australia and coordinated by the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport and the National Sports Commission. The seminar, which had over 400 registrants, focused on elite performance, governance, sport workforce, sport tourism, among other topics at the Artichon Conference Centre. Diaz, Christiani, Ramnath and Pert all hailed the timeliness of the workshop and its significance in guiding the developmental pathway for sport in Guyana.
What was really great is that this is one of the many things that's been happening where it's an inter-sport collaboration. I think that was the primary thing that this event was trying to accomplish, as well as bringing international knowledge to us in Guyana. For me as a sports administrator, what I learned a lot from Mr. Campbell and Professor Pam was about how we could look at our existing structures and find gaps. To sum it up in what they were teaching us is essentially doing an internal audit and then doing a forecast. Because what we often do here in Guyana, we kind of build a house for what we're going to go into, not the one we're going to grow into, right? And I think that was a bit of an eye-opener for us. And then also just looking at the various statistics that they're able to bring down, because we don't really have that many statistics in terms of how we can view us as different associations going forward, but to understand what's going on in the world and how we can apply that to Guyana.
It's definitely was an important one that was necessary, that most clubs, persons representing clubs, representing associations could go back and build a better ecosystem for their association or club. Well, especially the ecosystem part, yeah, that was very important for me, because I'm personally building a club, and hearing the issues persons raise about, conflict of interest in their associations, lack of funding, these things really helped me, and it will help me build my club better.
I feel that this workshop for the past 1.5 days has been very essential. It's something that we needed for over a period of time now, and the way the sports industry has been growing in Guyana, this year is essential, and to be able to meet the different association and federation, and also to be able to collaborate with Deakin University from Australia. Sports university is a step in the right direction with where we want to go with sports in Guyana.
The studio program is really interesting, especially to the dynamics of sports in Guyana and what it's entailed. What we also realize is that in Guyana, the volunteer system in Guyana, which I think we need to emphasize a little bit more on that, as it relates to individual come out and help the specific disciplines in sport. With that, we may be able to maintain a more fluid structure, and as it, financially, we may not be up there as it relates to specific sports in Guyana, and we would have realized the professors would have emphasized that from their country, which is Australia, where volunteer is very feasible. While we understand comparing both countries, we cannot use the same tailor-made system, but we know we can take something from Australia pattern to use in Guyana.
Now, the Guyana Amazon Warriors manager Leon Johnson has declared the franchise's successful Global Super League title retention as one of the standout finals of his decorated career, following a staggering 6-run victory over the San Francisco Unicorns at Providence. Johnson is certainly no stranger to silverware, having built a reputation as a serial winner, lifting domestic titles with the Guyana Harvey Eagles, breaking the Guyana Amazon Warriors Caribbean Premier League jinx, and now securing back-to-back GSL trophies. He has seen his fair share of high-stakes matches. However, few victories in his ledger have been quite as improbable as Saturday's triumph, where the host franchise successfully defended a meager total of 8-5.
Leon, I have probably our own joke calling it the Lord of the Rings. Another title, probably at the halfway stage. Maybe didn't think it, but what a game.
Look, we knew it was a difficult track. Halfway stage, 8-5 seemed like the fat lady was singing, all right? But, our mantra is Warriors fight to the end. Thought that if we could win the power play with the ball, we'd been in a good shout. Special mention to Dwayne, those wickets early on. Also Moti getting one of their top batters in Esterhuizen early. So yeah, we were always in the game, and I think once we were able to get Fabian Allen out at the back end there, yeah, I felt that, you know, it was ours to lose.
A bit of goosebumps here, but I remember your last title as captain of the Guyana Harper Eagles. Similar circumstances overnight. Where do you rank this one?
No, this one is better, but there were like 10,000 more people in the stands to witness it, right? So yeah, much better. I was telling Coach Hercules, who was the coach of Guyana then as well, this is very similar. I said, but the atmosphere obviously very different. And I said, as we always say, Warriors fight to the end, and the guys showed. I mean, there was a lot on offer here this evening in terms of prize money and stuff like that, but I think that went out the window, and the guys were playing for pride as well.
Look, there's a bigger picture that really goes to the CPL title. There's a core that played here. Just somehow probably it weighs into a better preparation and a bit of confidence heading in, you know, to the biggest party in sport.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the CPL one, again, it has eluded us on 7 of the 8 occasions that we've been to the finals. All right, I think we got over a mental hurdle this evening, as well as in actually winning a final from a very bad position. So I think we got over a mental hurdle. We start training for CPL on Monday, actually, right in. We have a couple of players coming in for training. But I think, you know, this will boost us, obviously. This will boost us going into CPL. I mean, we've been able to play 5 games as well, so we'll use it as a bit of preparation.
And Coach Ryan Hercules, who has also worked alongside Johnson with the Guyana Harper Eagles, was also stunned by the outcome, describing it as unbelievable. It was a heist of epic proportions as Warriors created history by defending the lowest total ever in a T20 final.
How does it feel?
Amazing. Look at where we were with that score, and to actually go out there and get it done, it was a really, really amazing feeling. I think the guys deserve it. We play good cricket, but it's just unbelievable. Everyone is just speechless right now, but, you know, we're just enjoying the moment. I think it was important we do it for the crowd as well. You know, everyone here to support us and to get that victory for them. I mean, it means everything.
What was the halftime conversation?
I mean, the Warriors chant, we go all the way to the end. So, I mean, we just have to go there and make sure we put the balls in good area. And then you never know cricket, you know, it happens in Guyana. We've been in this position so many times. And I was saying to the guys, it's the Warriors' way, and this is the kind of cricket we're playing. But if that's the way it is, once we come out victorious, that's the main thing.
How much is the motivation this is going to be for the upcoming tournament, the big one, that's going to start in about a week's time?
Yeah, definitely. It was just like last year as well when we won that title. We're going to get some rest, and we're going to look to start training probably on Monday. So get the guys up and running from Monday. But, like, yeah, it's going to be big. You know, with the guys' confidence, you know, guys away who's not in the team. And the guys here, I think the confidence level is going to be really good going to training. And yeah, we look forward to that as well.
We tell you now that Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League will partner with regional health authorities and non-governmental organizations to provide free health testing for fans at all 8 of its host venues this season as part of the tournament's ongoing support for the fight against non-communicable diseases. The program will see CPL use its reach to signpost fans towards appropriate health services, with the organizers planning for the initiative to become a permanent fixture on the tournament calendar. The initiative will run across Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago, with health professionals stationed at CPL venues throughout the tournament, offering fans the opportunity to check in on their well-being while taking in the cricket. Services will include vital signs screening, covering blood pressure, blood glucose testing, body mass index assessment, urinalysis, and PSA testing. Non-communicable diseases, including hypertension, diabetes, and certain cancers, remain a significant public health concern across the Caribbean. By bringing testing directly into stadiums, CPL and its health partners aim to reach fans who might not otherwise have access to screening, using the reach of the region's premier T20 league to support early detection and awareness. Now, in today's game, cricket is as much about data as it is about talent, with performance analysts now playing a crucial role alongside coaches and team management. Recognizing that evolution, National Youth Cricket Coach Ameer Rahaman has earned a qualification in cricket analytics, adding another layer of expertise to his coaching portfolio. Rahaman, who has spent more than a decade as a physical education teacher, says he was guided by Avinash Sitaram, performance analyst with the West Indies senior men's team. He's also pursuing a bachelor's degree in sports management as he continues to broaden his contribution to the sport. Looking ahead, Rahaman, currently pursuing Level 4 coaching certification, has identified a gap in the development of women's cricket locally and is eager to apply his coaching and analytical expertise to help nurture the country's female cricketers.
Analytics is something I was always fond of, right? I mean, since, growing up to an extent of being able to access the internet, I used to watch videos, I used to check everybody's score, compare them, and it made me realize certain things that, the way cricket is going now. Cricket is basically being taken over by technology and science, and this is something I wanted to add to my game to help cricketers. Well, what analytics really help about is that it helps coach see cricket from a different angle, right? It also helps players see things that you may not see in person, whereas whereas I gather videos, I gather data, statistics to show them, okay, this is where you went wrong, this is what we can do to improve. You can be able to identify your mistakes using video footages, being able to compare stats from previous tournaments to show how you improve if your form has dipped, all these kind of things you can be able to see. I mean, I know it's tough for a coach itself to be able to find all this information, right? That's why I think an analyst is very important, because these type of information, the data, everything can be provided to a coach, which can make their work easier. Example, last under 17 regional, I was appointed coach there. And what I did with the players was that I showed them different footages of players from opposition team to study and analyze, and look, this is how this person keeps getting out, this is how we're gonna work. And it helped. So it helps a player to, improve their thinking, able to help coaches as well to be able to plan better for opposition. One of my main goals with analytics is that I honestly want to make a difference with women's cricket in Guyana, right? I think we can go so much further in women's cricket, because I was having a conversation with a few persons before and I mentioned that, look, I think we have probably some of the best set of players, at the senior level, and it's sad that we're not dominating enough, right? And I want to be able to help these players, to identify different things, because I've had the opportunity to work with some of the girls back in Borby, some of the West Indies girls like, Shemaine Campbell, Gajambi, Shinita Grimman and stuff. And it was really a great experience for me and them, because they were able to see things, that they didn't see before.
And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, and all social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news team, I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.